Run it. I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then I go off.
Hi, and welcome back to The Conscious Day Trader. As you can see, we've got everything set up, and today we're going to break down a pound USD dollar trade. It's Monday. Mondays are always quite tricky because we've got people setting up from the previous week, and we did have a sell-off in the pound dollar that we discussed on Friday. That gave me good profits. But today I'm currently in a trade still. I've closed most of the positions. I've still left with my final two positions. So I'll run you through that. And what we're going to do is look at the dollar index as well, because it's been quite interesting in terms how it has been responding to last week. So what we're going to do is jump onto the chart straight away. As you can see, I'm still in a trade. These are the two positions that I have to deal with, the two single positions. They're currently in heat for $200, but today we are up on 382. As you know me, I want to make around $400 to $500. So what we're going to do is patiently wait for this setup. We're going to be patient, and we can see, we're going to break down exactly what happened. But as you can see, we had that big drop on the pound dollar. That gave us the profits here. It failed to break the lows of these lows here. However, it did take the liquidity below this level here. Now, when it took the liquidity, then it pushed up, and now it's taken the liquidity above here. So obviously we're having a reaction, and that's what we're seeing here. Where am I going to be thinking of repositioning on this? If we go down into the 15-minute, we've got this area here, which will be the logical area where the price will want to come retrace, get a better price for a continuation long. We're also going to break down why are we long and what did we see that gave us that, even though we kind of said it from that big drop there. We're anticipating a long position, so we're placing our trades in this fair value. We're gonna see we're placing our trades into this fair value gap here. I traded quite conservatively up this here. If we go back to, if we look at this 2 minutes, we had nice fair value gaps filled, and that's what I traded. If I had kept my positions, I would have been hitting my target by now. So there is a little bit of I guess we're in the New York session. There is a little bit of a thought, is this going to break lower? So we need to assess on the bigger time frame. We're going to do that on TradingView to see if we are going to need to reposition quite tight, or are we going to give it some room to be able to manage the lows of this. And that's with everything in trading. There's not exact science. What we try and do is manage each day differently. With what I've kind of works for me now, that repositioning that I've always talked about is a pound average approach. So as you can see, I've got two positions that I can reposition, and these I've already repositioned this one here and this one here and this one here, and these were deliveries of 15 pips. So 30 pips in total from this, and a bit more from the closure of the repositions. Now we need to manage these final two positions here. And as you can see, we're getting a bit of a green candle. We'll see as we are doing this video. Hopefully, by the time I show you the analysis, this has played out, and we're going to hit our target. But if it doesn't, I might show you how I'm going to manage this live. I know a lot of people are asking for this. Obviously, you're not going to get my full breakdown of the how I break every single position, but during this period here, you're seeing this live trade here. So let's jump on TradingView, and here we are. We're on the pound dollar. You can tell from my positions are on that fair value gap there. Now we're going to see if that fair value gap as it's filled and fails down, we'll see if any thought of repositioning right now is at the bottom of these fair value gaps here. And you might ask why. Because if this fair value gap here on the 15-minute and this one, so you can combine the two if you want. I'm just going to make it clear in case you get confused by combining two fair value gaps. But we've got that area here, which is going to be interesting for the price to retrace back into. That's going to be the 76.4 of the Fibonacci retracement. Just by looking at that, 76.4 is going to be a full retracement of that fib from that move here to the top. Now, why am I interested in gaining a second position here and not on a 50% retracement, someone might say? The reason is because I really like repositioning in fair value gaps. I feel like price hasn't been rebalanced, and fibs always work out. And when I find a reposition that fits exactly with my with a fair value gap, these are the areas where I want to get in. So this is going to be an area where I would want to place my 1 and 2 lots. As you can see, we're increasing a little bit the lot size. We're doing 1 lot size, but in 2. So that way, what I want to do is reposition my worst ones to the good ones. Now, someone might ask, what happens if that breaks lower and breaks this fib? If it breaks this fib, we need to see where that can go. And this is the area here. As you can see, this fair value got filled. It's a 4 fair value gap, but we didn't retrace on this. So the logical area for the price to take liquidity and fill in a fair value gap would be this low here. So if we extend that all the way to our price now, we can see a logical price that can go into. Out of interest, if we drag on this is the top of the move there to the bottom of that move, and we change that to an extension, the 1618 sits exactly in that fair value gap on the 4 hour. So this would be an area where I would want to reposition. So now my thought process is, do I reposition here for them to come and break to the tops here, or here if this breaks to the low? Now I have a big account that I can manage this. Maybe I'll enter 1 lot size here and 1 lot size here for a total of 4 lots, which I will end up repositioning. But the reason I can do that is because of the daily range and how much the market has already moved. Now, if I was on the London Open and the London Kill Zone, I might not be able to open 3 or 4 lots at the same time. I would have to manage the single lots. So as you can see here, because we're in the New York time, so pretty much half of the session of the day has happened, and we've had this move, and then repositioning happening now. Price retracing to fill in fair value gaps. And there's not a lot of news coming up today. So I'm quite happy with this size that I currently have. But we'll see how it goes. I'm currently sitting in the red for $194. As you know, my stop is at $2,000. So we're still in profit because we have $300 in profit. So a lot of room for me to be able to manage this trade, and that's key. You need to be able to manage each trade individually and separately from each trade. So even if I do this repositioning here, that's why it's difficult for someone going to use it, is because tomorrow I might do it differently depending on the conditions. I might trade with smaller lots. I might trade 1 lot there, 1 lot there, 1 lot there, instead of 2, 2, 1 or 2, 1, 2. It all depends on what I'm reading on the chart, and that's why it's something that works for me. And I saw a comment, someone saying Yanis doesn't work, or the conscious trader doesn't put any stops. I do have stops, and it's hard stops. $2,500 is my max loss that I want to close my positions to. So it's not that there are no stops on the chart. It's that I've put the stops out of the way, and if you saw on the MT5 live that I showed a second ago, there would be stop in there and take profits in there. So obviously, if you're entering here, the next target, which is also aligning with the fib, is this line here. So if we drag on a arrow, if we're entering here, that high is the immediate target. If you want to hold it longer, that fair value gap there aligns nicely with a 50% retracement. That would be my final position that I would be maximum willing to take out. So that would be like 40 pips, which would be really, really good profit. But because I've already got the profit, I'm not looking to hit that 50%. A retracement to that 38 here will be really nice. So that's what we're aiming for. If that crashes down and I reposition here, so obviously then my second target becomes the 23. If you're wondering what numbers I'm saying, are these the 23.6 and 38.2. Now, why this fib? Because we've got the previous daily high in the top, and that's the highest point of the move, and the bottom here. If we do that on 1 hour, you will see that a bit more clearly. We're looking for that retracement here. We do have, unfortunately, an equal double low here, which we know that the algorithms are like to and take that liquidity out. And what we need to be aware of is that we've got that 4 hour fair value gap. So if this goes down, I need to deal with 70 pips. So that's what I'm thinking. 70 pips, if you break it down into 35 pips down to this fair value gap, and then 35 bips for this. So we need to be clever on how we're going to be entering if the price comes down to the previous daily low, breaks the previous daily low, and it goes higher. Okay, so it's a bit more technical. That's why I'm not always talking so much in detail on the details of the trade, because a lot of people would get confused on how I trade. And actually, I need to reposition the screen. Apologies, I just realized that you couldn't see the time frame, so now you can. So we're on the 1 hour, and we've seen this break show retracements closed above the 23.6, which in traditional fib, that would be an indication that the price wants to go up to the 50% retracement. And then we had this break here above it, took liquidity, broke the lows, and then targeted above the liquidity above this. Now, if the price is aiming for the downside, like we discussed earlier, two areas are interesting for me. One is the liquidity here, which is going to be sell side liquidity below the intermediate lows, and this target here, which will be the 4 hour. Now the difference in these, like we said, one is 75, this is 35. So I'll repeat that. What I'm looking for my repositions is either to reposition around this area here. This is what I need to analyze, and that's when we're going to go now to the dollar index. Sell side liquidity, if I believe that it's going to come down here. Worst case scenario, 4 hours, and if it reaches that and doesn't hold and doesn't have any reaction, then we need to focus on these areas here. Why these areas here? Because we had that big move that hasn't been balanced yet. So there is a lot of pressure that on the downside, even though we've had a big sell-off, and the overall pressure is on the upside, as you can see this. But if you can see in terms of this trend, if you want, you can see that it's pushing up, pushing up, pushing up, big push up in to hit those areas above the equal highs. Now took out liquidity above here, crashed down. So those two options are still live. One is that this is just a retracement to build up better price for a continuation to what our target is above here, with the main target around that 128 area, which would be a few weeks or month to get there. Or is the price coming down to fill these areas here to 1.2? Those are the two things that can happen and will happen. One of those two things will happen. So we need to identify either both. One might come down and then push up. So there's so many options. But in terms of a day trade, we need to see this. And what you're seeing now is a bit of a cone shape. So price has come down, found the low, taken the high, taken the low, taken the high. Now, is this going to take the low and then go upside? These are all things that we're thinking about. Now, if we go on to the dollar index, we'll see that we had that double bottom here. So if we go on the 4 hour, we'll see it more clearly. We had a reaction of this double bottom here, and then it pushed all the way up, and now it's breaking even higher, filling these areas here. So my thought is, because I want to go long on the pound dollar, are there areas that this can target before it starts moving down? Could this, which is now is targeted this fair value gap on the 4 hour, it's in the fair value gap. If we go on the daily just to adjust the previous daily high, that's fine. This looks a bit off. Okay, so we're in extreme range, premium range. We're hitting fair value on this area. This is actually a daily fair value, which will link it to that. So it's in the 50% level of that fair value. If we look at add that 50%, and we'll change that fib so we've got a number of the 50, we're going to see horizontal line the price, and if I change that color, the price is trending down at the 50% level. Now let's see if that's going to close. We've got, this is on the daily, so obviously anything below is going to indicate a fulfillment of the fair value gap and continuation down. So we're in an area where we can see a lot of pressure to the downside. We've been trading down, come down, and then that extreme push now filled the fair value gap, and we've got that sell side liquidity that hasn't been tapped yet. So a lot of things that's giving me sort of confidence into that the price will potentially be reversing. All this might not happen, right? So this is what is in trading. If this doesn't happen, and this is a true break to the upper side, then we need to deal with a bad trade. And obviously we need to trade out of this bad trade. Let's see we don't miss any moves on our pound dollar, because I'm seeing some action. Let's go down to the 15-minute. Okay, so this is pushing down. Next logical area is the previous daily low. Previous daily low, and this is the area where I'm going to seriously have to think if I'm going to use my second reposition. So we're going to find out that probably, otherwise this video is going to be so long, I'm going to have to wait for hours. We're going to see if that happens. But if we go on to our trade sync, this is currently our month. We're currently running just below 4K. We've had a little bit of a lower than last month. Obviously we had some good weeks in there. We hit 8K, and I deleted the data from the previous because Fivers, unfortunately, when you pass the challenge, you can't download your trades, which I actually need to ask them. So I have a big picture, because I'm still running on all green days since January 1st. And I want to be able to go back and see my whole performance of the year. So unfortunately, I deleted it by mistake in the portfolio. I deleted it by mistake in when I wanted to re-import data into this. So I need to sort that out so you can see the whole year. But still all green. We couldn't trade on Monday, Wednesday and Friday there, but we still got 2 more weeks. Even if we repeat these previous weeks, we'll be still having a 6-7K month, which will be really good, especially when you're trading in Bali, and you don't have to pay London rental prices, which are crazy for the money I was getting paid when I was back in trading in sport trading. I wasn't trading in sport, I was analyzing sport. So super happy, even with these days, the difficult days. I'm so thankful to be able to be consistent and, to be able to share this journey with you guys as well. Tomorrow, there's going to be a big vlog day. I've recorded a lot of video, so look forward to that one. You will see a lot of Bali. You will see a lot of actually basketball as well. This morning, I went and played basketball. It was so good. I found out about the community here in Bali. If you're a basketball player and you're in Bali and you want a pickup game, drop me a comment and I'll get you involved. It was such a cool court, and I'll show you that tomorrow when I post the vlog of life in Bali for an ICT trader. And I hope this has been helpful. I know some people are going to get more confused because I'm showing a little bit more of my live trade. So I'm anticipating a lot of questions on this. But if you're frustrated on not understanding something that I'm doing, it's because you're not supposed to understand it. Yeah, we are not the same trader, and I see the market in my own ways, and I respond to how the market works for my style of trading. Now, you might say, well, if it's a good way of trading, everyone should be able to replicate it. And unfortunately, the market and day trading doesn't work like that. You can't just pick a methodology of someone, copy it, and become a millionaire. It would be very, very easy if that was the case. But if you stay long enough in the game, survive the game, and you pick up one idea that I share, and then you pick another idea from like the Scruffy Trader or ICT or whoever, and you make your own map of what works for you, that is a sign that you're on the right path to become a consistent trader. And one thing that I haven't been discussing a lot about, but is very important, is the mindset. And a lot has to do with the mindset. I never go into market with doubt. A lot of people see my trading and they're like, wow, that's so scary. It might be scary for you, but it's not scary for me because my way of trading is for me and it's not for you. And it should be scary for you because if you tried to trade like me, it would be very scary. The same like if I tried to trade exactly like ICT, I would be very scared as well because it's tight stops. That scares me. And I would just blow accounts by doing exactly what ICT does. We have to find what works for us, build it, and then when you fine tune it and you find that consistency, then you will finally, it will just become like magic. When you get it and you see it, then you're like, this feels right, and I'm finding consistency. And I'm getting a few messages where people are finding their groove and finding their way of trading and passing challenges and so on. And that feeling of success, or it's not the feeling that I'm making a lot of money, it's the feeling that I'm getting it. That is the most important. It's like the fisherman who's trying to teach him to fish, and suddenly he gets one fish and then 2 and 3, and he's not worried about the fish because that's already there, and he knows that he can get the fish, but he's so happy and thankful for learning the process of being a fisherman. So there we have it. A bit of mindset at the end. I hope everyone is doing well. I am going to share. Let's share a last scene of what's happening on the pound dollar right now. We're still coming down. We had a bit of reaction back into break even on that fair value gap. It looks like it wants to push down into this area here. So I'm probably going to be starting thinking, like we discussed already, repositioning here and repositioning here for areas. Obviously, this is for education. Don't take any of this advice for your own trading. And like always, stay safe and make sure, please do that because it helps massively to grow the channel. Just click on the like button. Click once. We get thousands and thousands of views, but only a few likes. So don't be that guy. Just press that like button. The more we grow, and here's the kicker. The more we grow this channel, if it gets, I've already said it, if it gets to 5,000, we're currently sitting at 3,000 subscribers. If it gets to 5,000 subscribers, I will start thinking about a community to discuss ICT or whatever you want to discuss. A lot of people have asked for a Discord. Other people fancy a Facebook. Whatever you want, it will be like a vote on a poll, and it's because of you. So if there's enough people there that want to be involved in that, then I will make it happen. Obviously, I'm a bit reluctant, so that's why I'm waiting for a group of people, because it's an extra thing to do. And but as a reward for all of you pressing subscribe, that might happen. And as we can see now, we've just gone and touched that previous daily high. So here, let's see if we're going to take another trade. Okay, it's deciding to hover there. We have been talking for about half an hour, so I won't wait any longer. I probably will start thinking about this as soon as I turn this camera off, and you'll find out about this trade in the social media. So make sure you tune into the conscious.daytrader or Twitter or wherever you follow. You can find me there. Have a good one, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow where I'm going to be posting the vlog. So make sure you go and watch that, and as always, like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.
I can't take no love.